A lot of athletes I speak to about starting their own business seem to put a lot of pressure on the idea or coming up with something unique that someone hasn't tried before. And that doesn't need to be the case when you're starting your business. There are, in fact, three different approaches you can take to starting your own business that I've come across over the last few years running my own business whilst performing as a professional athlete too. And I want to share those with you today because I think it'll be pretty helpful. So the first type is what I'd like to call a mule business. So these are just proven to work, and much like a mule, they kind of just plod along at a steady pace, and they aren't going to do anything crazy, but they're not going to let you down as well. So what's important if you're starting a mule business? Well, you need to do the work, and you need to ignore distractions. It's the kind of business that if you do the work, is going to succeed. It's things like cleaning, things like web design, insurance firms, social media management. These are all proven to work. There's lots of people making lots of money in all of these different services that people are offering. And all you need to do is just do the work and keep going. There's no real pressure on you to have something unique as in terms of an idea or an approach. And it obviously helps to have certain ways that you might want to position yourself in the market so someone is going to choose you over another. But really, when it comes down to its core fundamentals of what you're delivering and to whom, you just need to do the work and ignore distractions when you're running a mule business. This is the kind of business that I started in 2020, at the end of 2020 going into 2021. And it was a SEO agency. They're proven to work. You're not going to do anything too crazy in terms of thinking of different ideas, different mechanisms or anything like that. But you're just going to do the work and you're going to make money doing it. And that's how I've been able to make about $250,000 online running my business. And that's really helped me a lot when it comes to my own sport, being able to prioritize my recovery and things like that. So this is the kind of business that I started. The pros of this are they are simple. They're proven to work, and there's going to be a blueprint wherever you look online to be able to actually run this effectively. The cons are you can't charge as much as some of the other types of business approaches because you will be seen as more of a commodity when you're approaching business in this way, because there are going to be other people like you running similar types of businesses. That also takes quite a bit of time to gain traction. And if I just show you this here, let's say you're running a web design business, it is going to be quite slow to get it off the ground, to build your brand, to build that trust in the marketplace. But after a while, it's going to go up and you're going to start getting referrals, going to get people inquiring, coming to you because of the content you're posting online or something like that. And you're going to get a good amount of money, and it's going to plateau. It's not going to go super, super high like some of the other businesses that we have here. But when I say plateau, this can be around $1 million a year, really, if you want to take it to that point, and get it as a steady $1 million a year business. Now, I've not done that myself personally, but people I've been talking to, people I've been in communities with and that kind of thing, they have had goals to get to this point and they've achieved those goals. And that's a very reasonable goal to get to. So just because it plateaus around here doesn't mean it's going to be stopping you from getting a good amount of money to support your athletic career if you're an athlete. The other is a racehorse. And these are more built to compete. These are more, I guess you could call it exciting in terms of business model, but you've got to bear a few things in mind when it comes to building a racehorse kind of business. You need to think about the market problem selection, and you need to be a bit more careful and strategic about that because you might be coming up with a new idea for what you're doing. You also need to bear in mind timing, and this can be relevant to things like right now, for example, in 2025, the early part of 2025 anyway, where lots and lots of more businesses are using AI in their systems and learning how to use AI in their systems. And people who start AI kind of businesses right now, they might fall into this racehorse category because it's more about finding a problem, creating a new solution that someone hasn't really created before. They're timing it well because it's in the infancy of this kind of technology. You also need to bear in mind in competition in this point because there will be other people that are creating fast and developing quickly. And with that, we've got continuous improvement. So let's say if you do create AI systems, other people are going to be creating AI systems. AI systems are going to develop, they're going to improve. The technology we have available to us is going to improve. Therefore, you need to keep improving, keep iterating your product. This isn't really going to be so much the case with cleaning web design. This is just a standard service. You kind of get what you're looking for. It's fine because it's simple, but here, yeah, you do need to do some more continuous improvement. Examples of this are short-form content agencies, AI automation services, and also dispensaries, where they've seen opportunities based on timing or something else, and they put a solution in place. The pros and cons of these: you can get early traction with these kinds of businesses because you might be hopping onto a trend or something new where there's a big surge in demand and not enough supply at the moment. So you can get some early traction with these kinds of businesses. As a result, if the supply is lower and the demand is high, you can charge high. There are going to be opportunities, therefore, to reinvest that larger amount of profit that you're getting into the development of your product and improvement of the service that you're actually delivering. The cons are the competition is going to be more fierce because you're playing in a more competitive game. There is going to be risk of trend popularity, overpopularity even, and you need to compete with the different product creation challenges. If these technologies that you're using are new, then you might be kind of treading into uncharted waters where not a lot of people have solved the problems that you need to solve. Therefore, you're going to need to be the first person to solve those problems. That is good in that when you do solve those problems, you're going to be in a minority, and therefore you're going to be able to charge a lot. But it is going to be a challenge. It's going to be quite a lot of work. It's not just like, oh, we just need to create a website here. That's a problem that's very easy to solve. As a result, you will see some early traction right here, and there is going to be a higher ceiling in terms of potential that you can earn. Founders at this point, where let's say it starts to slow down, the growth starts to slow down at this point, they can make one of two decisions. They can let the competition catch up with them and choose not to reinvest and start to be a victim of the saturation of the opportunities that's in front of the opportunity that's in front of them, or they can reinvest and continue to make their product better and position themselves as above and separate the gap between themselves and the rest of the market at this point as well. So it's more difficult, I would say, this racehorse kind of business approach, but there is a higher ceiling here, higher chance of early traction, and obviously presents a very exciting opportunity. And the final one, and this, if you're an athlete looking to build something on the side, this isn't going to be the kind of thing that you're looking to do right now. But I just thought I'd make you aware of it. We've got unicorns here, which are market disruptors. Lots of things important here: market problem solution, timing, competition, continuous improvement, having a unique idea, the talent that you have on your team available to create something really, really exciting. And typically this is going to be software companies that you are interacting with using pretty much on a daily basis these days. So we've got things like Uber, things like Netflix, these kinds of businesses where they would be considered a unicorn at this point, considering their growth and where they've come from and where they are now. And that is a result of great timing, great solution creation, making sure that they've got the best talent to be able to create the best product and continuously iterating on the product that they've developed as well. So the financial upside of this is infinite. They can have a world-changing impact. The cons are the failure rate's high, you may need to raise capital, the competition, and also the cash flow can be an issue as well. So if this is your first business, if you're looking to build something on the side as an athlete, this isn't going to be the approach you're going to take. It's going to be too difficult, and it might not even cash flow for you for a very long time. If you need to raise some funding, and if it's not going to be profitable for a while, but you're accepting the fact that it's not going to be profitable for a while, that is fine. But if you are looking for something to just bring you in some money, then you're going to stick with a mule business or a racehorse business. But maybe later down the line, once you've finished with your sport, then maybe you will go ahead and start one of these and do whatever you want with it. So in terms of what we're looking at, money on the money time scale, we're looking at slow to begin with, but at this point it can really, really take off. And obviously this isn't completely accurate. This can happen at any point along the line, but these have the ability and the potential to really take off, but then they also have a very high failure rate where it can just drop to zero as well. So those are the kind of three types of businesses or approaches to businesses you can take as an entrepreneur from what I've seen anyway. And as I said, if you're like me, if you are a professional athlete or a high level athlete looking to build a business on the side that's giving you some income, let's say 5 to 10,000 a month, like I've been able to do, then you would be sticking with one of these kinds of businesses, the mule or the racehorse. And if you need help building one of these, then feel free to get in touch. There'll be links in the description below. But thanks a lot for watching this. Thanks for sticking around, and I hope it's been helpful. And I will be able to speak to you very soon in the next video.